losing fish. And I got realizing I tried to eliminate everything, like my hooks, my hook sizes, every line, everything, different type of rods. And it finally came down to my hook set. I figured it out that my hook set was wrong. And what I was doing is, number one, I was setting so I was setting the hook too hard, and I was setting the hook on either a slack or a semi-slack line. Now, I don't have my rods here with me, guys. I'm not at the house right now, but one of the things that you need to remember in bass fishing is, don't believe this stuff about setting the hook hard on a slack line, because what happens, and how I figured this out, is when you say you get a bite like that, and then you bow down to the fish, you create a little bit of slack or looseness in your line, and then you set the hook hard like that. A lot of times, the force of popping that line back on a slack hook and setting it hard, sometimes it will actually do two things. It'll either pop that bass's mouth open. Say you have a jig in the fish's mouth, and that super hard hook set will force the bass's mouth open, and a lot of times the fish will just spit the lure out. You won't have it. Or when you set the hook hard a lot of times, this membrane that's right here on a bass, that's a real soft skin membrane, and you'll set the hook, it'll penetrate that membrane, and then it'll tear it. It'll tear like a big hole in it, and the fish comes up and jumps off. Those are the two most common things. And I got looking at people that never lost fish. Guys, the dudes out there that never lost fish were the older dudes that didn't set the hook hardly at all. Guys like, I remember Gary Yamamoto, some of the older dudes, they'd get a bite, and then all of a sudden they just like pull back into it slow and start reeling, and they never lost a fish. And I've told this story before on my other channel, but this is when everything changed for me. Is I was practicing for a tournament down at Grand Lake in Oklahoma, FLW tournament, and I was flipping bushes with a worm. And in practice, I use little cheap junk hooks, just because I don't care if I lose the fish or not, and I always try to shake the fish off. And I got noticing in that practice, it's like I'd get a bite in a bush or something, and the fish would start swimming off with it, and I just start shaking it like that, trying to get the fish to drop it. And 90% of the time, until I finally cut my hook off completely, they'd be hooked perfectly through the roof of the mouth, and I wasn't even setting the hook on it. First day of the tournament, I go out there and I put on my bigger hooks, and I get the bites, and I reel down and I jack them like I always do. And guys, I had 13 bites the first day of that tournament and got 2 fish in the boat. I lost a bunch of big ones, and I was at my breaking point. So the next day of the tournament, I said, I got nothing to lose. I'm going to